Boom, there's your champion select. And we now have Final Hour on the blue side and Slinky on the red side.
Mm-hmm.
So, judging on that
There
last
goes.
game, immediate Draven ban. So, judging on that last game, what else do you expect to see banned other than Draven? Ace. Ace. Okay. Long time taken for the second ban here. Ace, are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see what they do here. Oh,
Jinx.
Jinx.
Both AD carries being denied.
It's obviously a target ban.
Well, so's the Draven. Target bans back and forth at both AD carries.
I mean, Draven didn't do too much damage last game.
Well, both the AD carries, when left alone, they did the damage that they did. Leona also banned out. A lot of bot lane focus coming in here from the blue team. Maybe
Bot
Annie?
lane's
I expect to see an
bot
Annie.
lane's kind of the
Go ahead.
bot lane's kind of the was the game turner last game, I think.
Fair enough. Dr. Muno banned out here. That's a strong ban as well. We saw that last game as well. They don't want to deal with that huge tank up in the top lane or even in the jungle. Ziggs banned out, so the wave clear not available by Final Hour. And final ban coming in here for Slinky. What's it going to be? I still want to say Annie because I want to be clairvoyant. Come on. Just once, my crystal ball. That or Gragas banned out here to keep him out of the jungle.
Gragas was really strong. Gragas was really strong last game.
I agree. He didn't gank as much, but he offered a lot of map control. And the times he did gank, it was absolutely massive. And there was always, especially after level 6, somebody caught out and somebody killed. Thresh picked up by the blue team here. First locked in. Nasus being hovered over. I think Nasus... No, Nasus wasn't banned last game, I don't think.
No, he wasn't.
So
You got teleport, so that could be interesting.
they're looking to have this giant stacking late game insurance in the top lane. Which eventually, if this game goes to 30, 35, 40 minutes, Nasus, if he has enough stacks, is just going to start one-shotting towers. And with teleport, he's going to be able to split push like the bottom lane and teleport to Baron. Or split push the top lane and teleport to Dragon. Lucian also being hovered over here. And that could be a deny to keep the wife steal lane from being a thing.
The Nasus has really strong split lane push. And just push in general.
Both of those do get locked in here. And with Draven banned out, Jinx banned out, Lucian picked up. I expect to see either Caitlyn or Ezreal, probably more like the Caitlyn, picked up here by the blue team. But they don't have to pick that now since the AD carry's already been shown. They could go ahead and pick up their own top laner and maybe
so
a
who do you
jungler
think's a
here?
counter to Nasus?
A counter to Nasus is... Well, I guess Teemo's kind of a counter in terms of he can blind. There's that Ezreal. Countering Nasus is more of a team thing. Shyvana does okay in lane against him. Trundle would be really good here, actually, because since he just eats all your stats, your defensive stats, as Nasus goes in trying to get a bunch of Qs off in a fight, if he has like 30 armor and magic resist, because Trundle's done nasty things to his resistances with that ultimate of his, he could actually be a really good counter. And we might actually start seeing a lot more Trundle. Maybe even an LCS. Because as this top lane meta goes, tankier the better. And if you have somebody that negates your enemy's tankiness, well, who's better than that? Poppy, maybe?
Trundle is a very strong pick lately.
I can't wait to see Assassins come back into the meta. That's my favorite. Like when Talon's big again, can't wait. Jarvan and Sona. Maokai and Sona. I didn't think about I didn't think the Jarvan would be. I haven't seen a lot of him. Maokai maybe, but they're going to be lacking a lot of sustained damage in this composition if they lock these picks in. And they'll need a mid laner that can output decent, either huge burst damage or decent persistent damage. Like Malzahar would be cool. Or even Cassiopeia.
Space Aids.
Yeah, I'm never going to see either of those champions, though. But those are champions that would work with something like... That's the kind of damage they need. That or an Orianna. Yeah. Or... Kassadin has been left open this entire champion select, and nobody's even touched him. So we may see that coming
Blue
in.
Still hasn't, yeah, Blue still hasn't picked.
Neither team has picked a mid laner.
They're mid.
Vi was also left open, and honestly, if they pick Vi and Kassadin right here, I would have to give the early and mid game to the blue team. Vi still doing really well here. So we can see it looks like blue team, it looks like final hour. Oh my god, the fizz for Catface. I think that's about to be a thing. It's locked in. So Catface is a known fizz player. He used to draw lots of bans for it. We're going to maybe have a treat here.
He grabbed a fizz.
That being said, Kassadin's still open. I wonder if the team even knows. Sometimes OP, quote-unquote OP, champions get left open and neither team even touches them because they don't fit the composition they want. They don't bring what they want to the composition. Like, for this composition, blue team's going to once again look to get onto your back line and blow you up. I almost said black line because Lucian. Hey, there's that Annie. Annie mid lane, it looks like, since they already have the Sona.
So Annie versus Fizz.
Yeah. Honestly, Fizz is going to absolutely destroy that lane. Especially at level 6.
I definitely agree.
Levels 1 through 3, Annie's going to have the advantage because of lanes. Because she has the range over her. But as long as Fizz... I'm actually writing a guide about this. Fizz can... with his burst and his mobility, get around the damage and dodge some of the spells that Annie throws out. Like, Annie's spell is, her stun is very telegraphed. She has, particles floating around her. And as soon as she throws that out, Fizz can just playful trickster up, dodge the stun, even dodge Tibbers, jump back down and just blow Annie up before she can get the rest of her stuff back off of cooldown. And that's how that lane's going to go.
Fizz's playful trickster gives him a huge amount of mobility dodge-wise. He can literally dodge like any ult with it.
Look how mobile this team is. We have Fizz, playful trickster, Ezreal, arcane shift, Vi, assault and battery and vault breaker. Shyvana ultimate and her speed boost, and then Thresh can hook over the wall. He can throw a lantern to bring somebody to him. It's so mobile.
Yep.
But the Maokai initiate into Annie's stun, I don't know. I feel like there's a very, very strong forced initiation from Purple Team that if they can land it onto this highly mobile team, they might just be able to walk through them until late game. Unless Vi and Fizz make work of the Annie and the Maokai in the mid lane. I guess if they end up like 2v2 counter ganking that stuff. Even still, that all comes down to the fact that Annie is very squishy early on, and so is Sona, obviously. Blue team has more resilient champions.
At level 1, Sona's weaker than a minion.
Yeah, I don't play Sona. I play all supports, but I don't play Sona or Alistair because I can't headbutt pulverize for my life.
I main Sona, and like literally, she's weaker than a minion at level 1. So
her poke damage is nice in lane though, and her sustain is like godlike. But she's just one thing hits you, you're dead. GG. And they have that's against a Fizz. So Fizz is actually going to have a pick of 3 targets here. Like, he can pick Lucian, he can pick Sona, he can pick Annie. And any of those three people, he can basically solo at almost any point during the game. Annie might be an issue later on if she builds, like, Route of Ages and Zanya's. But another strong pick composition coming in from Final Hour. If they want to kill you, they're going to. Vi is going to knock you up with Assault and Battery. Thresh is going to hook you. Fizz is going to ult you. If you're not dead by then, holy cow, you're probably Nasus, and in that case, you're just being beat on by Shyvana and Ezreal. Whereas on the flip side, if Sona gets caught, she's dead. If Annie gets caught, she's dead. If Lucian gets caught, he's dead. Maokai has decent damage reduction, but he can't really peel as easily for his team. I mean, he can, don't get me wrong. He's got some actually decently good peel in form of that knockup. But Nasus is going to be able to wither, and that's all the peel we're talking here. That's literally it. Like, other than the exhaust, but that's, once every 5 minutes, and I wouldn't just burn it for a slow. That would be a little silly. So I expect to see a Talisman of Ascension from Sona, like ASAP. Or that's what I need to see.
Yeah, they need that extra mobility to get to the back line.
And honestly, I would like to see a Locket on Maokai, just to give their team the overall tankiness. Switching into the load screen here. As I actually remember to switch the layout this time. Oh, as soon as my client wants to respond. There we go. Everything should be dandy. There we go. Much prettier. I was a little nervous there for a second, not gonna lie. It looks like the skin war goes to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Actually, it goes to the purple team here again. It looks like in both games, Slinky has won the skin war, which means that no matter what happens in the game, it's all worth.
Oh yeah, that's always worth if you win the skin war.
Also, we have Neon Strike Vi versus Arcade Sona, and that's just a lot of fun particles flying around. It's like having Officer Vi and Officer Caitlyn on the same team. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Now, it looks like the push potential of this, the push potential of purple team early game is going to outweigh that of the blue team, just because Lucian's going to naturally, he's going to push a lot better in the bottom lane. And, oh, there's a pause.
There goes the first pause.
Well, par for the course tonight. I hope nobody's keyboard broke again. Let's find out. Keyboard? That was the first question asked. Oh. Somebody was ganked by mom. Which is a Korean player, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe he's Chinese, I'm not sure. There's a lot of talking going on here. So, level 1, nothing crazy coming out. I don't see any fancy schmancy starts. Mom aggro. Talking about Meatloaf.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's a Korean player. Called it. So, I'm going to take this time to adjust my players. So what do you expect to see in the early game here? I think I've done my fair share of time.
Invade potential. I don't think blue may invade. It looks like possibly. I don't think red has very much invade potential. damage wise. Like they have some CC that they can use, but damage wise, I don't think they can pull something off. Invade wise at the beginning. But blue has definitely has enough damage. Straight off the beginning. And we'll see if blue decides to invade here.
Welcome to
I expect they will.
Lots of movement coming up towards the... Maybe they're going to try to control the red buff again this game, as well as they did last game. If you remember, they took all 3 in a row away from Slinky. Maybe they're going to look to do the same on the other side of the map this time.
Malachi throwing those saplings kind of as wards. Ezreal knows she's there though.
30 seconds until
He did land a
Annie's
Q.
there.
There's another one out. Sees both people but doesn't land the Q. I figure, you know, that's worth it. If you land a Q, you don't know how many people are in the bush. You just know something is in the bush. But if you show yourself, then, you know, he's going to know who you are, what you started with, all that jazz. Invade from blue team onto the red buff, as predicted. Chasing out Nasus. Doesn't look like Nasus knows, however. Yeah, Sona's got like 400, no, just over 500 health, I think. No, just over 400. I haven't actually clicked her and looked. I should do that. 501 health. She's literally got just enough health to survive. It's like
Yep.
barely more than a minion, yeah.
She's weak. She's as weak as a minion in first
See.
wave. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, 1 Q, there just goes half of your health, or a third of it.
Yep.
Flay misses. And it looks like blue team's putting pressure onto the blue buff and red buff at the same time. Nasus is aware of it though. Lucian trading really well onto Ezreal.
Matt
By getting the
Nasus.
smite down.
looks like he is going to chase her though. Here comes Annie. Not doing anything though.
Turns around to apply the red buff and walks away. Very good jungle invade overall across the map by the blue team here. Thresh looked to stagger his auto attack animation there. Now Shyvana's going to shove this lane way harder than Nasus can deal with in the early game. Especially if he started
Nasus, yeah, needs to focus on farming his Q.
under the tower.
So that's gonna take away his push ability.
He's probably going to lose his tower eventually.
Yep.
But that's what he wants. He wants to be pushed in so he can farm that and become a massive late game monster. Lucian low in the bot lane. As we see him losing out on a little bit of trading there. Huge advantage for Shyvana from that early red buff experience that she got. I think she got early red buff experience.
She's definitely using it to her advantage.
Looks like this bot lane very low, but here comes the heals of Sona coming to save the day. Here comes to save the day. It's underdog people.
You're just trying to heal as much as you can to keep that lane sustained.
And honestly, as long as blue or Final Hour can't land too much poke onto them, she's gonna be able to sustain them up just fine. And then Slinky's bot lane will be able to turn around at level 5 or 6 and get some good damage back, as long as Thresh doesn't land a hook.
If Thresh lands a hook on Sona, she's dead. Unless she decides to flash out.
Oh, gank in the mid lane from Maokai. On to Fizz.
Coming in with that present, but he just says playful trickster out.
Playful Trickster's the stun, and that was one of the dangers of Fizz. Hook thrown out in the bottom lane. Does not connect. So, I think we're going to see a very, very passive start to this game.
Yeah,
as
I don't
long
see
as junglers aren't involved. We're going to want to
Annie
watch...
putting some damage on Fizz there in the middle.
She does have good burst, but Fizz is just going to be able to live through most of it, and Playful Trickster the worst of it. He can pretty much never be stunned in that lane, Unless he mistimes his cooldown. Gank in the top lane, however.
We got a gank coming in from Maokai.
Apparently nothing happened because directed camera went away.
Yep.
And we're gonna go back to the passive start. A couple of gank
Mid's
attempts from
pretty,
Maokai. He's still level 3.
Yeah.
Whereas Vi is now level 4.
Mid's at a stalemate. So. There's a blue on the bot lane putting as much pressure as possible. That hook not even going anywhere close.
So we see Vi hanging around the mid lane. Maokai just backed. Maokai's gank attempts are starting to cost him. He hasn't really gotten anything out of anybody yet. And he's now down in experience. Vi is level 4,
Yeah.
farming and getting
It's
more
good to-
lane pressure.
It's good to gank, but if you gank too much, you get behind.
Yeah, you gotta farm that jungle sometime. Lots of face bashing. Actually, Nasus winning the face bashing top lane. Stun lanes in the mid lane.
Look at that. Andy, Vi picks up first blood instead of Fizz. There was that playful trickster dodging Annie's W and then allowing him to come back down and do the damages, the deeps.
Get the deeps. The fish does the deeps. And we see first
The
blood
deeps.
picked up for the Vi. It came at 6 minutes,
That
so
was
it was a decent
very-
amount of money.
That was well executed.
Fizz picks up double Doran's amplifying tome, and Annie has double Doran's fiendish codex. Fizz also has that flask in there as well. He had that since the beginning to sustain against
Yeah, crystalline flask. Sustain, yep.
So we see the only real CS lead being developed as of yet is Ezreal over Lucian, which Ezreal can farm from a little bit farther away, so that's not as, unexpected as a flash hook in the mid lane.
Hook on Maokai just instantly eaten alive.
That was a perfect transition from both myself and the blue team there. It looks like they're maybe rotating around to the bottom lane, maybe to look for the same thing on Sona. Maokai was just caught and deleted there. It looks like they're actually going to seal his blue buff away as it spawns, and good jungle control coming in again from GS Domin there.
Fizz has to be careful because his dash will put him behind the target, and if he's too close to the tower.
Yeah, it'll shoot him through.
So
It's a
he has
set
to be
distance,
careful.
so he needs to be mindful
Yeah.
of where he starts. That being said, it's Catface on Ziggs, so I expect great things, considering I lost to this multiple times. Ulti coming on to Annie in the mid lane, and she's
Eaten
done.
alive. There goes that Fizz ultimate.
And that's that
That's gonna
Vi
be 2 kills. Yep.
being able to
2
force
kills for
whatever
Vi.
she wants. Fizz didn't even have to do anything there. He literally just kind of threw out an ulti and queued, and that was his contribution.
Top still bashing heads.
Blue team taking Dragon, though. Final Hour knows that Slinky's nowhere in the area and unable to respawn with their mid laner being dead. And they pick up a Dragon
Takes
for
that
free as
dragon.
both Fizz and Vi jump over the wall. Sona sees the
First
retreating
dragon.
Ezreal and Thresh. Best recall
Looks
animation
like they're
ever.
gonna recall. Yeah, I love that recall animation.
Actually, that's a lie. The Snowstorm Lulu one was the best. Or
I have that, yeah.
Flay on Delusion. Hook is flashed.
You have an exhaust on Ezreal too.
And that's just a very strange trade. Top lane, we're going to see some proxying and some face bashing and some face bashing and some proxying. Maokai comes up, actually. It looks like he might be responding as we get a little bit of fighting in the bottom lane. Nasus is just farming, he
Maokai's
doesn't
just
care.
holding top. Yeah. Maokai
Level
just
8
wanna
to
be
level
running with
5.
Shyvana.
Maokai can't even pretend to fight that right now. He's about as strong as that golem is in terms of what Shyvana can do to him. However, we're going to see a 2v2 in the top lane now. as Nasus gets jumped on. Mid laners are here too.
Oh, red team pops over. Oh, there goes the Vi ultimate. Her taking the damage as the Fizz and Shyvana just eats him alive with damage. That was a very good, excuse me.
Red
This
team's
is a very
turret has been
good, not
destroyed.
ball breaker. What's her ultimate called?
Assault and battery.
Yeah, very good assault and battery under tower, and then taking that damage as Fizz and Shyvana did the damages to the enemies.
So if we look at where we stand, we've already got a 4K gold lead developed with a tower advantage at 10 minutes for final hour. So it looks like they're going to try and snowball the game as they just did in the last one. And red team needs to find an answer to it now. As of right now, Annie has died 3 times and Maokai has died twice. Now, as expected from non-professional teams, it's not that big a deal if they can't figure out how to do their first 10 to 20 minutes of the game, as long as they have good communication. And everything seems to be, like, the bot lane seems to be on the same page. The mid laner and the jungler, when they do interact, they seem to be decently on the same page. And the top laner and the jungler are on a good page as well. So they have good turns of communication. I feel like it's just maybe a difference in skill. But that remains to be seen as we're only 11 minutes in. And team fight phase is much better for the red team. So we'll see if they can turn that around.
There's a bit of a skill gap between the teams.
Ezreal ulti to clear the wave. Big gank coming in bot lane.
Oh, the assault and battery jumping in. Are they gonna get Lucy? They pick up Lucy and
Teleport
Sona.
used. Nasus, whoa.
Ezreal may go get taken down. Ezreal pops his barrier. They take down Nasus as Ezreal arcane shifts away.
Nasus came in with a huge effect there, chunked down Ezreal incredibly quickly. Maokai shows up to the party a little late, now level 6.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Bottom tower goes down. That brings us to a 6K gold lead. Flash? Hello?
Wasted
Bye.
flash.
Right.
Wasted, I think.
I do that sometimes, you know. Oops. I flash, guys. That's why I'm not platinum. That's why I'm casting the games. Looks like blue team looks to back off. 2 minutes until dragon spawns. They have a blue or a pink ward in the river. A blue ward. You know, that's a thing. Now, red team needs to get vision right now. They need to find these pink wards and clear them. They need to get out a few more wards of their own. They need to drop all of their trinket wards, knowing that dragon is soon, as they should have a rough timer of it. And if not, see, here goes Sona dropping the wards in the enemy jungle. She sees Ezreal approaching. This is a good step. She needs to not be the only one warding, though.
Sona definitely needs to be warding as much as possible, but yeah, there's a reason they made trinkets and warding limits, so it forces the other team to ward up, or the rest of the team.
Annie gets 2 spells, the W and the Q from the Fizz brought her to half health. That's not good, as she still only has 2 Doran's rings and a Fiendish Codex. I feel that wasn't the best idea to start with. By ulting, Lucian in the bottom lane picks up a kill. Sona looks to go down as well. All of blue team comes down to rotate, and it looks like final hour is going to take a middle tower off of this. Maybe
Can't
even.
catch a break, can they?
Nope. But final hour's a lower standing team than
Red team's
Slinky
turret
team.
has been destroyed.
They have a
Here's that
long-term
thresh hook.
communication.
The thresh hook Maokai getting caught out. The ultimate
Good
by
aim.
Annie trying to stun in. Yeah, it's... Yellow.
There's a 4-man stun.
Blue team double kill. Shut down. Dominating.
Blue team
Sorry about that,
rotating
my
the
neighbor.
dragon.
My neighbor came in. Looks like they may take Dragon here with no problem.
Well, I fixed my hotkeys. That's good. Blue team picks up Dragon.
No contest. Bashing heads top.
It looks like they're actually going for this. And Shyvana's winning out the trade, but Maokai comes
in. And he
Shyvana
does he get
alters
W?
away.
He needs W if he's gonna go for it. Nope.
And that's
If they go
top lane
in,
for you.
Nasus is gonna die.
Yep.
Nasus would have died if they went in on that.
I find top lane fights to be so interesting because a lot of times they literally involve pushing all of your buttons and then right-clicking each other and seeing who comes out ahead. And it's like a game of chicken. That's what top lane is. You farm and you play chicken with the other top laner. And whoever wins that game of chicken sometimes comes out winning the game.
Yep, top's all butting heads, but if you can get the kills and outsmart your opponent, then you're definitely going to become a valuable member of the team quickly.
Nasus has 219 stacks right now at 16 minutes. He does kind of hurt. A lot.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Engagement going on the bottom lane. Good crescendo from the behind. Maokai ulti goes down. He escapes to the wolves. And he comes in, gets stunned, jumps a lot of damage. Dies.
He's gonna pick up, Ezreal's gonna pick up on Lucy and Vi pick up on Annie there.
15 to 1.
Red cannot pick up a break here.
I think this game was lost in Champion Select
Yeah.
when Annie and Maokai. Well, no, I feel Maokai's been doing all he can, but Maokai's just not strong right now. Vi, on the other hand, has picked up 6 of her own kills. Like, holy cow. Not to mention, there's always a risk of Cat Pace getting
Red team's turret has been
fizzed and
destroyed.
doing exactly what he's doing right now. Nasus can't even really stand to tank that damage if they had gone in on him. All he has is a frozen heart.
They get siege all day.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna get choked out here.
Going? Where's Ezreal going? Because they're gonna get collapsed on here really quickly if they're not careful. I believe Maokai will start the engagement if there's one.
If red team can get an engage under a tower in this enclosed space, they may be able to do something. But they need to get onto a priority target. They have to blow up Fizz. They have to blow up Ezreal. They have to stop Vi. Any of those big shutdowns that they can get right now are going to be absolutely massive for them if they want to have any stake in this game. I believe. Everybody making a good rotation bot lane, but this is one of the harder towers to defend, and honestly, at this point, I would risk giving up this tower and saving the inhibitor. Hook lands on a Maokai, though.
He may take out this Maokai right under his tower. Yep, he's gonna go down. Oh, Nasus is taking. Sorry, I apologize. Vi is taking some flack from that turn and gets taken out and gets the shutdown. Thresh pops his ultimate. I don't know why. I thought they were gonna chase or something. Ezreal is overstaying his welcome. I feel like. So's Thresh.
Thresh takes the tower, flashes away. And blue team's gonna wind up with this tower.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Looks like Lucian comes in to clean up the wave afterwards, and well, they got 2 kills there, which is 200% of what they had before.
Yep.
Which, when you're behind, and you can take any kills you can get, and it only came at the cost of trading evenly on kills and then losing a tower. So they went basically 2 for 2, lost a tower in that fight. They did get huge shutdowns, though, onto Fizz and to Vi. So that's good news. That was probably a good chunk of gold, and it looks like Lucian got 2 kills there of his own. Scrying Orb picked up by Sona, and I love that pick because when you're behind and you can't really leave your base, well, I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't go out to ward. Especially against, 2 sweeping trinkets. They're just going to be able to clear your stuff that you put down anyways. Nasus picks
Yeah,
up the
when
red
you
buff
up-
here.
When you upgrade it to tier 3, it gives you oracles for like 8 seconds also.
Yeah, like, you're not going to be able to ward against that. Nasus gets hooked in, and this is going to be a good bit of damage coming down. Maokai getting dropped very low, picked off. And he's stunned onto 4. And Sona flashes over the wall.
Looks like they're gonna dive under, taking out Nasus with the hook on the Thresh hook. Fizz is behind while Ezreal's taking those turn shots. Thresh is now taking the turn shots. He's gonna get taken down to a quarter health while they take that middle tower there.
It looks like the
And
surrender
the
boat
surrender.
comes in. And that's game. At 21 minutes.
That went
Final
south
hour
really
going
quickly.
2-0 in the series. GG.
That went south. South really quick.
That's how snowballs happen, though.